Hello students, welcome to the solution video of Cyclic Test 3. The paper that we are going to discuss is economics. Now this was a 50 marks paper. So there were two sections in this paper, section A and section B. Section A comprised of 20 marks weightage and section B comprised of 30 marks weightage, and together they account for your 50 marks paper. Now under section A you had all short answers, and under section B you had all long answers, right? So all the questions, sub-questions under section A consisted of 2 marks weightage. On the other hand, the sub-questions under section B consisted of 5 marks weightage. Let's start solving the paper. Now when you start solving the paper, the name of the section that you are going to solve first must be mentioned. So you write section A first. Question number and sub-question number also has to be mentioned. The first question is, what do you understand or what do you mean by mixed economy? Now students, you have to write the meaning of mixed economy. So you can choose to write this answer in your own words. However, there are certain key points that are to be mentioned or written in this answer. For example, joint or jointly owned by the state as well as private people, guided by self-motive and profit motive. You can also add examples of economies or countries which follow mixed economy, right? So if you've written all of this, you earn your 2 marks. Now moving on to the next question, what do you understand by green revolution? Again, you have to write the meaning. It can be written in your own words. The key points or the key words over here is new agricultural strategy has to be mentioned. Now, what are the things that come under new agricultural strategy also has to be specified. So that includes your HYV seeds, your irrigation facilities, extensive use of fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides, all of these things or all of these terms have to be there in this answer. So when this was used, the outcome that was generated because of the adoption of this new agricultural strategy is what is popularly known as green revolution. You may also add the name of the person who played a very important role in the adoption and the success of green revolution. That is Mr. M.S. Swaminathan. So you can add that in your answer. So if you've added all these keywords, you earn your 2 marks. Now the next question, that is question 1C, is what do you understand or what do you mean by marketable surplus? Now students, you can again write down this answer in your own words. There is a terminology, there is a meaning that is given in your textbook. You may choose to use that to write this answer. The words or the statement that's given in the textbook for the meaning of marketable surplus is this particular point. That is, marketable surplus refers to that part of agricultural produce which is sold in the market by the farmers after meeting their own consumption requirements. So this is a textual meaning that we've added. So you can add that, and apart from that, you can add one more sentence. Yeah. Question D, that is question 1D, comprised of 2 questions or 2 sub-questions. So each of those sub-questions comprised of 1 mark weightage, right? So utility, you have to define or you have to write the meaning of utility. So what do you understand by utility? Utility refers to the want-satisfying power of a commodity. So when a commodity is capable of satisfying human wants, we say that a commodity has utility. So if you've written this correctly, you earn your 1 mark. Not 2 marks, you earn your 1 mark. The next part of the question carries 1 mark. So if you've written the meaning of consumption very well, nicely, you've written the explanation for consumption, you earn your 1 mark. So this utility contains 1 mark and the meaning of consumption contains 1 mark. So together or total, your question 1D comprises of 2 marks. The next question is question 1E. What do you understand by industrialization? Now that is, you can write this answer as industrialization is a process in which more and more industries are set up or established in a country. You can minimum write 2 sentences, maximum 3 sentences, and you can add more sentences into it and try to improve your answer, because the more you explain nicely, the more it helps you fetch better marks. So don't just restrict yourself to just writing the first statement that it is a process where more and more industries are established in a country. Try to add more points trying to explain what industrialization is. Like, for example, how human labor is replaced by mechanical power, or how animal labor is replaced by mechanical or machines. You can add all of that, or how industrialization brings about a change in the whole structure of the economy. All of these things can be added. It will only enhance your answer, students. Moving to the next question under section A, that is question 2. Now anything, so what is the question? Question 2A says, what do you understand by factors of production? Now the answer to this is anything that helps in the production process of a commodity or a service is known as the factors of production. And you were also asked to state the examples of factors of production. So the main classification can be mentioned. You can write land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, other main classification or examples of factors of production. So if you've written this, you've given the example, you earn your 2 marks. Now moving on to the next question, that is question 2B. What do you mean or what do you understand by cottage industry? Now students, you can write the meaning, you can add more sentences, you can add more explanation, but do not restrict your meaning to just one sentence like I have mentioned before. Please write at least 2 to 3 sentence explanation. It just enhances your answer, right? So you can add that the capital investment is low in cottage industry, or that it is run by family members, or that it utilizes local raw materials. All of this can be added to increase the size and the length of your answer. Question 2C. State and explain the features of large-scale industries. Now students, it is understood that when features are asked, you are supposed to write only 2 features because it is a 2-mark question. So you will write only 2 features and you will explain those 2 features, right? Now, when you write such kind of an answer, you have to write the statement first. You have to write the 2 features of large-scale industries are. You have to mention the statement at the beginning of your answer, and then write the head points, the 2 head points, the 2 features that you are willing to write. Yeah, and then write the explanation to those head points. Remember students, the head points have to be clearly numbered, and you have to underline the heading so that it stands out. It becomes clear to the paper corrector. And then apart from just the heading, you also have to explain your heading properly and nicely. Yeah, so 2 marks, 2 headings, and suitable explanation to those 2 headings. Now moving on to the next question, that is question 2D. Again, this question has 2 subparts. You have to explain or define what savings are, and second part is you have to explain what meaning is. You have to explain what income is. Now, if you've written the explanation, you've written the meaning of savings, you get your 1 mark. If you write the meaning of income as well, you get your 1 mark. So total you get 2 marks. If you fail to write the meaning of income, or if you don't write the meaning of savings, either one of them, you only get 1 mark. 1 mark for whatever part of the question that you're attempting. But if you have successfully written both the parts properly, then you earn 2 marks, right? Now the last part of this question, that is question 2E, is what do you understand by capitalist economy? Again, you can write this in your own words. Just make sure that the few important keywords are there. Laissez-faire economy or free economy are the keywords. Owned, managed, factors of production managed, owned by private people. This is a key point. Yeah, it is based on free enterprise, guided by self motive, profit motive. So these are the important words and that have to be included in your answer when you are asked to explain the meaning of capitalist economy. So if at least self-interest, profit motive, owned by private individual, even if these 3 terms are there, 3 keywords are there, then you've earned your 2 marks. Yeah. Now we'll start with solving the next section, that is section B. Now we are solving the next section, so it has to go to the next page. Section B onto the next page. So let's start solving. Question 3 is write down or explain the positive impacts of green revolution. Now again students, you have to first write the statement from the question itself and then start writing your main answer. So the statement is the positive impact of green revolution are. Now students, it's a 5 mark answer. So you will write any 5 positive impacts. Heading has to be created. You have to number those headings, underline those headings, and write your explanation to those headings. At least 2 to 3 sentences explanation has to be there under each of the head points. Now question 3b is, what do you understand by FCI? Write down the role of FCI. So there are two sub questions under it. First of all, you will go on to explain what is FCI. FCI stands for Food Corporation of India. It is a nodal agency which undertakes the procurement and the distribution as well as the storage of food grains. So this is the meaning. You can sum it up in one or two sentences. No need to write more explanation, because remember, you also have to write 5 roles, right? So don't make it too lengthy. You will miss out on writing the later part or attempting the later part of your paper. So just keep it short. Now, when you start writing the role of FCI, remember to mention the statement. That is, the role of FCI are as follows. And then you will write 5 roles. You have to create head points for these students. So when you write the role, remember, there are no head points created in your textbook, or it's not there in your textbook, but you will create head points, underline them, number them, and then write down the suitable role of FCI. Yeah. So 5 points for 5 marks along with the suitable head points. Now moving on to the next question, that is question 4a. Explain the role of cottage and small scale industries. Now you will write a statement, the role of cottage and small scale industries are, and then write 5 roles. Any 5 roles can be chosen by you. Whatever you find comfortable to learn and write it down, you may choose to write it down. There is no compulsion to learn only these set of roles that I have mentioned in the solution video. You can choose to write any role of your liking, whatever you are comfortable with, right? So, but you have to write 5 roles for 5 marks. You will create your head points, number those head points, and explain those role or those head points. Moving on to the next answer, that is 4b. The problems. What are the problems faced by the agricultural sector? Now students, when you again start writing this answer, remember that you have to write the statement first. The problems faced by agricultural sector are, and then write the 5 problems faced by the agricultural sector. Again, there are a lot of problems that are faced by the agricultural sector. There are a lot of points in your textbook too. You may choose whatever you are comfortable with learning and writing it down. So we have chosen these 5 points or 5 problems. These are the easier ones. You can try and learn these also if you're comfortable with it. But it is not necessary that in your answer paper you must or you should write these points only. Yeah. So you can learn any 5 problems of your choice. Again, you have to number your headings, underline them, and write suitable elaborate explanation for those head points. The last question of the paper is question 5. Question 5a asks for the government measures that was undertaken in order to improve the agricultural sector with respect to land reforms. Now, there were a lot of government measures that were undertaken, but this question very specifically asks you to write down the answer to only one government measure, that is land reforms. So first of all, you will go about and explain what land reforms are. And under land reforms, there are certain things that was adopted or launched by the government in order to save the agricultural sector. So what are those? It includes 5 points. Abolition of intermediaries. So you write the heading, explain what abolition of intermediaries is. Then the second point, tenants reforms. Again, you will explain this. Ceiling on land holdings, write suitable explanation for the same. Consolidation of holdings, cooperative farming. So these are the 5 aspects under the measure of land reforms. So you have to explain this when you're asked with the question, or when you're asked the question, government measures with respect to particular or specific land reforms only. So you have to write this. Now, moving to the last part of the question, that is 5b. What are the contributions of the agricultural sector to the Indian economy? Again, you will write the statement at the beginning of the answer. The contributions of the agricultural sector to the Indian economy are, and then write 5 contributions. Underline those contributions, underline those head points, create numbers or number those head points, write suitable explanation for these head points. So for 5 marks, you have to write 5 contribution along with their explanation. So once you have done that, you earn your 5 marks. So students, 5 marks, 5 points. If you've written 5 headers, but you have only written explanation to 4 headers, then you get 4.5 marks. So the heading contains half marks weightage and the explanation contains half mark weightage. So remember to write the heading as well as explanation for all 5 points in order to score your full 5 marks. Thank you, students.